What's up, guys? Farmar here with another YouTube video. I know, 2 in a row. Crazy, right? So, some cats have dropped by in my stream asking me why I think the Vision of Perfection build is good with Incarn. And honestly, the numbers are just ridiculous with it. I think furls are actually really good right now. I just did some of the heroic raid, and the fights that I died on 1 or 2, but well, I didn't die on 2. I died on 1. Not my fault. Anyway, I'm gonna go over the Vision of Perfection Incarn build with you guys, so that you can, you know, hone in your skills on this new rotation. It's a very simple rotation. I'll go over a few of the nuances so that you kind of get what's going through my head whenever I'm doing this rotation. And yeah, this is all you got to do to top the meters. So here we go. A few of the things I will talk about with the Incarn build is whenever you are in Incarn, you will never cast Brutal Slash. You will always cast Shred if you are in Incarnation. There's a few situations, maybe if there are 3 targets, you can cast a Brutal Slash. 1 target, 2 targets, most of the time you want to cast Shred. Shred gets double the crit damage, Rake gets 100% bonus damage, and all things are really good in Incarn. So let's go ahead and go over the opener, and then I'll kind of walk you guys through the rotation a little bit more. If you guys have questions on this rotation, feel free to drop by the stream and ask, or leave a comment down below. I'm pretty good at answering comments. Yeah, so these are going to be the talents that you're going to run. Mass Entanglement doesn't matter. Balance Affinity, Sabertooth, Incarn, Brutal Slash, Blood Talents. You can change out Brutal Slash for Primal Wrath if you're going into dungeons. I've actually been really enjoying Primal Wrath Incarn build in dungeons. Your boss damage is extremely good, and your Primal Wrath damage for trash keeps you competitive there as well. So instead of sacrificing your so basically, it's the Soul of the Forest build, right, for the dungeons, but put Incarn there and run Vision of Perfection, you know what I'm trying to say, Vision of Perfection, as your major. So there's your talents. Let's go over the essences that you're going to run. In most cases, you're going to be running Vision of Perfection Major. You're going to run a Lucid Dreams Minor with a Breath of the Dying Minor. If you have that 3rd slot and you're running against an Aberration, you're going to put Purification Protocol. Against everything else, you're going to run Crucible of Flame in that minor slot. Some people have been making arguments for World Vein Resonance in the Major due to some of the bosses being very standstill. I'm still not super sold on World Vein Resonance yet. We'll have to see how it performs in Mythic when there's more mechanics for the bosses, but in Heroic it doesn't seem like the worst option either. So there's always that for you if you want to run World Vein Major. Okay. So let's go ahead. Stats for the Vision of Perfection Incarnation build is you're going to want to primarily get your critical strike. In my last video I said 30 to 35%, so I tuned some of my gear down in crit, and I went from 30% crit to 23%, and I'm actually seeing that 23% crit is feeling pretty good with Razor Coral and Triple Jungle Fury. And I kind of have some overkill on my crit with my Spyglass as well. So if you're running Spyglass and you're running Razor Coil, you got all these crit items, you could probably stand to have 20 to 25% crit. But if you're not running crit heavy trinkets, or you don't have the Triple Jungle Fury combination, you probably want to aim for that 30 to 35% I was talking about in the last video. Your second stat is going to be Versatility, followed up by Mastery and Haste. In this build, Haste and Mastery are roughly the same. Mastery, of course, increases the damage of your bites. Haste increases your energy regen and increases your damage from your bleeds, or how often they tick. And your rakes are a lot stronger in this build as well, since you're getting that 100% damage boost. Alright, so those are your stats, those are your essences, those are your talents. So how do you play this build? It's actually a really simple build. So you're going to do your standard feral opener, right? You're going to go ahead and do your Incarn, your pre-pot Incarn into Tiger's Fury. And you're going to go ahead and put up your rip, or your rake, into your rip immediately, and get your Ferocious Bite off. Then you're going to go through your combos, and you want to time your abilities just right, which it's not very hard to do. Time your abilities just right to refresh your Incarn Rake right there at the end. So, this is basically it. You basically cast Shred. When you're out of your Incarn window, you want to, do your standard Brutal Slashes. You want to expend all of your Brutal Slash stacks if you have Tiger's Fury up. Otherwise, keep your Brutal Slash from capping at 3. But only worry about Brutal Slash if you are not in your Incarnation window. So you're not getting a proc from your Vision of Perfection, anything like that. I actually didn't use my Razor Coral in this opener. I should have. If you are running Razor Coral, not everybody has Razor Coral. What I've been liking to do, is basically waiting until my Incarnation cooldown is up. Once my Incarnation cooldown is up, I time my Razor Coral with my Incarn, and I just get guaranteed crits the whole time. My DPS shoots up whenever that happens, so very much recommend doing that with your Razor Coral. Otherwise, it's up to your own discretion on when you want to use that. Alright, few rules with Incarn. Whenever you proc Incarn, you're going to want to replace your current rake immediately, unless that rake was from Incarn itself. The reason being is Blood Talons will only increase the damage of your rake by 25%, and Tiger's Fury is only going to increase it by 15%. So, what you want to do is, as soon as your Incarn procs, you're going to be doing 100% additional damage with your rakes. That's the time that you want to refresh your rakes. Before Incarn is out, if you have less than 8 seconds on your rakes, this is my personal preference here, if you have less than 8 seconds on your rake, then you're going to want to reapply your rake before that Incarn runs out. Alright, what else? Yeah, primarily, I mean, there's not a whole lot to this build. You're going to push a lot of DPS, though, during your Incarn windows. And sometimes I will go through a fight and I will literally have a minute of Incarnation. It will just constantly refresh. Constantly refresh. And so it's extremely important that you're timing your Brutal Slashes during your off windows, so that you get the most DPS out of your, whenever you're not in your Incarnation window. It's also really important that you keep your rakes buffed by Incarnation as much as possible. Like I said, if Incarn's about to run out and you have less than 8 seconds on your rake, refresh it. You may proc a new Incarn, you may not. In case you don't, you want to try and get as many 100% ticks out of your rake as possible. But yeah, trying to think if there's anything additional that I can really say. I don't think so. It's a pretty straightforward build. If you guys have questions or you have concerns about the build, you're not sure, it feels weaker to you than the prior build, etc., feel free to reach out and ask. We can kind of talk about it. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and good luck in the raid. If you guys want to see me do the last, how many bosses have I downed? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bosses left. If you guys want to see me do the remaining bosses in Heroic, feel free to tune into the stream tomorrow. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.